Good morning. Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be back in Crewe. Thank you very much to Arriva for hosting us today. And great to be here with Ed Timpson, a very hard-working Conservative Member of Parliament who's done a brilliant job for Crewe, a brilliant minister in our government, and someone we're working very hard with in this election. And at this election, the economy is the issue. It is front and centre, first and last. And I'm clear that our economy isn't just about the nation's statistics. It's about the nation's families. It's about the job you do, the chances your children have, the funding we have for our NHS and our schools, the hope we have for our future. It is everything. And I've always been clear, right from the start, it's not just a bigger economy we want, it is a balanced economy, where success is felt from north to south to east to west. I didn't come into this to create some reckless, booming economy just within the M25. That is what we had before. In Labour's Britain, where for every 10 private sector jobs created in the south, just 1 was created in the north and the Midlands. In Labour's Britain, where the whole weight of our economy rested on massive public borrowing, unsustainable financial services, out-of-control immigration, it was, if you like, a house of cards ready to be blown away should any crisis hit. Well, we say no more. We will back business to create 2 million new jobs. And this is my goal, that more than 60% of these will be outside London and the South East. That is what we've done in the last Parliament. That is what we should do in the next Parliament. Because my vision has always been of a truly balanced economy, one that is built to last, one which is seen not just on the screens of the city traders in the City of London, but in the great manufacturing plants of the West Midlands and the North East, in tech startups from Dundee to Manchester, in the tourist and defence industries of the South West and Wales, the life science labs of the East of England. A truly national recovery. That is what we want, and we are getting there. We're getting there because we're doing some long-term, unprecedented things to rebalance our economy. High Speed 2, electrifying the rail lines between the main towns and cities of the north of England, over a dozen city deals, a groundbreaking deal for Manchester to combine a new city mayor with wide-ranging new powers. To get money out of Whitehall and onto the ground, we've had a local growth fund and a regional growth fund, and to back all of this up, we get out there and have a relentless, tenacious, unflagging drive for trade deals around the world. So that's meant things like Bentley down the road deciding to build their new SUV right here in Crewe. Or just this week, the £6 billion Rolls-Royce deal with Emirates, the biggest deal in that great British company's history. This has been an active, long-term, far-sighted programme, and we can now see some of the results. Where do we have the fastest growing exports in our country? Not London, the North East. Where are we seeing the largest increase in employment? Not in the South East of our country, but right here in the North West. Where's the highest number of apprenticeships? Again, here in the North West. The fastest increase in business startups, the North East of our country. And right here in Crewe, over 5,700 people have started apprenticeships. 43,000 people have had a tax cut. Over 5,000 people in this town have been taken out of income tax altogether. And the numbers going to sign on are right down too. Indeed, those claiming unemployment benefits in Crewe has fallen by 55% since I became Prime Minister in 2010. So the plan is working. It's working for Crewe, and we've got to see it through. That's why, in our manifesto, there are plans for 3 million apprenticeships across our country, plans to back industries like aerospace, automotive, the rail industry, where we are today, and plans for high-speed rail, for more city deals like the one in Manchester, and for record transport investment. And today I can tell you about something else we're going to do to make sure the UK-wide economy is properly balanced. In the Scottish referendum, we made a clear promise to devolve more powers to the Scottish Parliament. And after we won that referendum, we kept our promise, agreement was reached for the first time between all of 5 Scotland's major parties to give the Scottish Parliament extensive new powers. Now, we did that because, as Conservatives, We believe in decentralisation and decisions taken more closely to the people they affect. But as we go further in devolving powers to Scotland, we need to make sure that devolution works for all the other parts of our country too. Take one example. The SNP government in Scotland is committed to using its new tax powers to cut and eventually abolish air passenger duty for flights from Scottish airports. Now that could distort competition and see business drawn north of the border with a huge impact on airports in the rest of our country. So we're reviewing the way air passenger duty works to make sure other cities don't lose out. And today, I want to set out a new principle. You could call it the Carlisle principle, that we make sure there are no unforeseen detrimental consequences to the rest of the country from Scottish devolution, for either England, Wales, or Northern Ireland. So under a Conservative government, the Cabinet Office and the Treasury will conduct an annual review of the impact of all devolved policies on the rest of the country. It will look at what effect Scottish government policies are having, whether it's changes to tax rates, business rates, or university tuition fees, or Scotland's powers over energy, agriculture, transport and public services. The Chancellor will report to Parliament each year, setting out the impacts and what action is needed to make sure there's no detriment to the rest of our country. To be absolutely clear, this is not about a UK government stopping the Scottish government from using its powers as it sees fit to do things differently. It's also not about reopening discussions about the Barnett formula. Our commitment to retain as the basis for determining Scotland's funding from the Treasury is clear and unequivocal. This is about making sure we understand the impact that devolution is having and making sure the rest of the country never unwittingly loses out. Decisions made by the Scottish Government can now have a big impact on your job, your income, on the investment in your area. And that's why we'll create this Carlisle principle and a mechanism to make sure the rest of the country doesn't lose out from Scottish devolution. And as and when there are further acts of devolution to Wales, for instance, they would be taken into account too. Now, in a moment, George will explain more about our plan to rebalance our economy, especially right here in the Northwest. But before he does, I want to explain how all of this, all that we've achieved, all that we plan, how all of this is under threat. Because the facts of this election have changed, and changed dramatically. And I want every voter in Britain to understand the consequences. The plain fact is this: Labour are facing wipeout in Scotland. The only way Ed Miliband can end up in Downing Street is on the coattails of the SNP. And that poses three clear and present dangers to you. Danger one is that the plan that's working will be abandoned. The British economy has been moving forward, growing 7 times faster than France, last year growing faster than any other major economy in the developed world. 2 million new jobs, 2 million of them, 1,000 more people every day striding into work. And none of this happened by accident. It's because we had a long-term economic plan, and that plan is in serious danger. Make no mistake, if Labour and the SNP get into power, you're going to see an alliance between a party that wants to spend, borrow and tax more with another party that wants to spend, borrow and tax even more. It might be a match made in heaven for them, but it is a match made in hell for the British economy. You would see our deficit climbing up again. You'd see spending on welfare soaring again, businesses crushed again, jobs lost again. With Labour and the SNP, our economy will head into ruin again. And who would pay? You will pay with higher taxes. Clear and present danger number 2 is your government grinding to a halt. Time and again, Ed Miliband has refused to rule out a deal with the SNP. He simply says he'll see what happens. He doesn't even want to talk about it because we all know what it would mean. Not some clean coalition agreement decided in the first couple of weeks, but permanent, messy chaos. Negotiating day by day, vote by vote, favour by favour. Endless backroom bargaining and backroom deals. Every single decision taking the form of a ransom note written by the SNP. Now, Nicola Sturgeon said it herself yesterday. on that television programme where I was too. And I listened very intensely to what she said. And she said this: it is possible to change the direction of the government on individual issues without bringing that government down. That puts a party like the SNP, if we have influence, into a very, very strong, powerful position. That is what she said. And while they're haggling away, the wheels of government will come to a grinding halt. And when government comes to a grinding halt, the economy comes to a grinding halt. And when the economy comes to a grinding halt, businesses come to a grinding halt. Job creation comes to a grinding halt. That is the danger that we face. Now, clear and present danger number 3 is to your town here in Crewe. For the first time in our recent history, if what I've described comes to pass, we could have nationalists from one part of our United Kingdom helping to run the rest of our country. And that has clear consequences for you. Let me put it this way. Can the SNP get votes here in Crewe? No. Do they even want to belong to the same country as the town of Crewe? No. So why would they have more money spent here in Crewe when they could spend it north of the border, with a weak Ed Miliband bending to their every demand? Don't take it from me. Alex Salmond has already boasted that he would help Ed Balls write his first budget. And he's promised to sabotage it in the House of Commons if he doesn't get what he wants. Just last night, an SNP spokesman said that if they didn't like the defence policies of the United Kingdom, they would stop every bit and piece of defence spending in the United Kingdom. So it doesn't take a genius to work out what the SNP will demand. That high-speed rail link that matters so much, including here in Crewe, only if you start in Scotland. Those new trains, cancel them. Those road upgrades, forget it. In case you think Ed Miliband is going to stand valiantly in the way of the SNP's plans, wrong. Judge him by what he's already done. He's already sacrificed the A27 and the Taunton Link Road. And we know why, because he has no political interest in those areas. So what will be next? What will he sacrifice here in Crewe to placate the SNP? Vital road upgrades to the M6 and the M56? The University Technical College we plan to build right here? Our £600 million plan for a northern hub to connect up our great cities? And Crewe has a proud history as a great railway town. What of its future? The Rail Exchange Training Academy that's been planned for the next generation of railway engineers? That could go. Even High Speed 2, which could secure Crewe's place as the gateway to the north, that could go. Labour are already playing games with it, and now the SNP spectre hangs over it too. So those are the clear and present dangers to the voters of Crewe and the voters of our country. Now, there's only one way to stop all of this, and that is with a Conservative majority government. With a Conservative majority government, we can keep on with a long-term plan that is